Alright, the next path I'm going to be covering for the Epic of Pain quest is going to be the Cassie Lang path. And I'm taking this with Bullseye, Thanos, and Serpent. And we're going to start against this Cassie Lang fight with Bullseye. He's super good for this one. Mainly because you don't have to worry about the miss basically ever. You also can play relatively aggressively. You don't need to worry about a lot of the things in the fight. The main threat is having Pursuit up during the evade phase, unless you just want to spam SB1, which you can also do. And then the power drain node is also there, so you do need to be careful of that if you're trying to keep your power. So this was my first fight, obviously on the path with the power drain node, so I didn't manage it as well as I wish I could have. But yeah, we're gonna go and try to throw an SB2 here. Unfortunately, she threw an SB1 to my block, but it's not that bad. And then here, my evade saved me a good bit of health there because I didn't realize I was inverted. My Bullseye is very newly awakened, so when he triggered his Purify, I wasn't expecting it, and it inverted my controls. So that was kind of funny, but anyway, it's just a slow and steady fight. You can do this fight with a lot of champs. And I praise Bullseye all the time for just not having a lot of things that get in the way of his kit working, because he kind of just hits the opponent until they die. That's kind of his whole thing, and it's what I love the most about him. The main thing you really want to do is obviously evade into your special too, but even if you can't do that, it doesn't feel that bad. And I somehow eat the SP2 there, so we're going to finish the fight with kind of low health, but it's all good. The relic into her block kills her. And now we're gonna go fight Gwenpool with Deathless Thanos. I know, again, not everyone likes the fact, I'm actually using Serpent for this. I know not everyone likes the fact that I speed these fights up, but I speed it up because I can't always find things to talk about for these. So I usually keep the length of it like as much as I can to keep it, interesting while I'm talking. Anyway, for Serpent versus this fight, I soloed it when it first came out with Serpent. The strategy I like to do is drop my special attacks, if I can help it, during when Inverted Controls is going to shift. Because then, once Inverted Controls triggers during your special attack, after your special attack, you're going to immediately know what to do and stuff. So, there I dropped the SP1. We did it after an SP3 too, so now we are in a roll and knowing exactly what... I don't even know what I'm trying to say. You know what? It's okay. She's just getting destroyed. We're using the cold snaps, and then I'm about to die now. I somehow ate the SP1. It must have been during inverted controls or something. I messed up, but that's okay. Thanos is going to finish this Gwenpool's health off. I do think Serpent is better for this fight than Thanos is, but my Thanos is also a rank higher, and he also just does a pretty good job anyway. One thing I don't really do in this fight is get the armor shatter up, and I don't really know why I didn't do that, because I should have done that. Maybe, do I do it right here? Okay, so I do it there. I think at some point in the fight I'm just not very consistent with it. And then another thing I'm not very consistent with is utilizing the counter punch to keep my furies and stuff up. Yeah, okay, so it's gonna it fell off there, the armor shatter, and then I believe I don't keep it up very well after. So I need Gwenpool drop special there. And then I go for the SP2, place some nice corrosion debuffs and such, and then I'm going to go for another SP2, except my power got drained, so not actually. Anyway, it's fine, the fight's going down eventually. It's just not the fastest thing ever. This fight was so much more fun on the next run I'm going to do when I get mutants and mystics, because I used a certain mutant to take this fight down in 80 seconds. Super fun. But yeah, Thanos he's doing his thing. He's gonna get Gwenpool down eventually. He hits very, very hard, as I'm sure you guys know. So it's just a matter of getting her down during the special attacks, which a lot of his damage comes from basics, so that's why some of this doesn't feel as good. But either way, she's still gonna go down. Bait the special one there, dex it and such, and then I got power drain, but that's okay. Am I going to go for an SP1 here? No, I'm not. SP2, of course. With the armor shatter up that time, actually, so good job me. And then the SP1 will finish the job because of the corrosion. Alrighty, now we're fighting Iron Fist. I like Bullseye a lot for this fight. this is another fight where it's like, hey, there's nothing stopping Bullseye from doing his things. Because this node shuts off all buffs on you and all debuffs on the opponent, both of which Bullseye doesn't trigger anyway. The only buff he gets is if he triggers Dex, and it gives him a Cruelty instead of a Precision, which doesn't really matter. So you just kind of use him and just hit the opponent, and then they're going to eventually die. In this case, we have the node Pressure Gauge, and with Pressure Gauge we need to make sure we are not going to 10 of the charges or 0 of the charges. If we go to 10, we're going to basically die from burst damage. If we go to 0, we're going to get power drained, which is not that big a deal. But either way, you don't want to hit 10 or 0. You just want to stay in like the 5 plus, 5 under range. Obviously 5 is the best, but just don't ever go to 10. Every time you block a hit, you lose some. Every time you hit them with a non-special attack, you gain some. Anyway, this also has Ebb and Flow Heavy, so we want to be using our heavy attack at opportune times, which isn't that bad. It's a little bit more annoying when we're rooted, but it's fine. There, some of my hits whiffed, and I ate a special. The spacing when you're fighting with rooted and an X-Turbo is so weird sometimes. That can happen. It's just kind of have to deal with it. But anyway, we go for heavy there, and then I was like, oh wait, I'm about to get hit, so I dropped an SP1 to save myself. And yeah, the fight's like not really fast or anything. Bullseye's not exactly the fastest champ out there, but he's still doing a good job, and we're gonna get him down sooner or later. Threw that into protection, kind of feels bad, but it's okay. I need to get a heavy attack right after this guy's special. I block most of it to remove some pressure gauge charges, and I'm not going to go for heavy there. Am I going to go for heavy here? I think I'm going to bait a special and then go for it. Yeah. So heavy here, and then I'm going to evade into my special 2, and it's going to do pretty decent damage because we have the Fury up and everything. Keep stacking up the perfect releases, making those bleeds a lot more potent, and then I forget about pressure gauge and die. So I think this was like 1 revive, maybe 2. This is the end of the fight. I'm skipping over a lot of it because there's not much to show. And yeah, all these fights were taken from stream, by the way. So some of the stuff I did probably looks really dumb because I was streaming, so my head wasn't exactly at 100%. But yeah, I think that took 1 or 2 revives. And then this fight's gonna take 2 revives as well. I'm using Thanos for this. Thanos is poison immune, so we don't need to worry about that at all. Poisons from Toad's kit. Basically, I have a specific strategy that I use for this Toad fight. When Toad is going to drop an SP1, I want it to be during the root. Or, let me rephrase that. When the next special is going to be rooted, I want to bait SP1. When the next special is going to be inverted controls, I want to bait SP2. And that's the strategy I go for this fight. I find it easier to manage that way. Mainly because the SP2 is a projectile, and I feel like the projectile is going to be much harder to mess with when I am in a rooted form than if I'm in an inverted controls form. So I want to push him to SP2 when it's going to be inverted, and then push him to SP1 when I'm going to be rooted. That's just a strategy that I found most helpful. Maybe it's better or worse for you, I don't know, but yeah, it was pretty helpful for me. Got passive stunned there. That's kind of annoying because that'll eventually happen when you fight Toad. I should have been more intentional with my intercepts probably to invalidate his prowess and stuff. Dropping SP1 there, but I was a little late, so it went to his block. It's all good though. We need to just keep chugging at it. He'll go down eventually. Thanos just has so much damage to where it's going to be fine, but I kind of lost all of my resources, so we're going to use this SP1, gain some Furies back, gain some healing back too. And then, yeah, go for another SP1. And then the SP2, baiting it out, and then we dex it, or actually I blocked it. And I think what happened there, I thought that inverted controls would still be active when I was going to dash in, so I ended up dashing back. And I was surprised to see that on the very final hit, like as soon as the last hit connects with you, inverted controls goes away, so I could have dashed in normally. I didn't really know that at the time. Dropped an SP1 there, kind of just to save my power that was about to be drained. So going to get the counter punch, and hopefully we're going to get to another SP2 eventually, start getting some damage going, because we've been in a bit of a lull state so far. That's just not been a lot of health of his going down. Anyway, power loss there, of course, so I need to go for an armor shatter here. I don't know why I'm just not using the heavy attack. I need to be using the heavy attack. I need to bait SP1 here too. And then I'm going to dash back just to make sure that I don't get power drained. And then here I'm going to go for... Why didn't I go for an SP2? Here I'm going to go for an SP2, hopefully. Yes, there we go, finally. So we get some nice corrosion damage. And he's about to drop an SP2, which I'm going to accidentally run into, because I was not really expecting it at that moment. And then, yeah, I died. So I revived. I think I actually used 2 revives to get him down, something like that. And now we're fighting Heimdall. I hate this fight. It's really easy. I just can't stand it. It's easy to do everything right, and then Heimdall just decides to be complete BS and kill you. Mainly because, like, if he auto blocks after your special, and then he immediately charges a heavy, well, he's going to still have that passive that turns off your dex, so you just kind of die, mainly because you won't have battery. Anyway, it's annoying, but I'm going to drop the SP2 right here into the heavy attack, because it's unblockable, and it stuns at the end. Well, it's not unblockable, only the first it's unblockable, but it stuns at the end, like I said. Anyway, I need to bait this guy's heavy in a moment. I'm really hoping he doesn't auto block here, because then he can just charge a heavy and kill me. And then he does right there. And then I want him to dash in, and then I drop an SP2. This is going to do some really nice damage because we have a lot of battery up. He's all the way at 56% health, so very, very nice. He drops his SP1 right there, and then this is when I'm just dead, because I can't do anything to avoid that, you know. Sucks. And now I'm using Serpent to finish him off. In theory, Serpent's fine for this. Like, he's going to have a lot of armor rating, so your special 2 is going to hit a lot harder. With Serpent, I just don't like using Serpent. I like using Bullseye way more than Serpent, which is kind of weird because they're like the quintessential defenders of MCoC, and they both have some uses on attack, but one of them I love using like 3 times more than the other, and that's Bullseye. I love using him way more than Serpent. Either way, he goes down eventually. I think it was like 1 or 2 revives as well, and then finally we have Prowler. I've soloed this fight with Thanos before. Am I gonna solo it this time? I don't think I do. I think something goes wrong. I think it was really easy on the first attempt when it was in like the gauntlet and stuff, and then with the power drain node and probably just some simple mistakes on my part, I wasn't able to solo it this time. Also, being live streaming doesn't help. Tried to do a ricochet there, found out that does not work, so at least I know now, I guess. Drop an SP1 there. And now I need to go for an SP2 next, because you need to alternate specials against Prowler, or else he's going to go indestructible on this node. So, but I might get power drained too fast, so it might not work out for me. Anyway, the power drain nodes happen one at a time, and yeah, I was like dashing away to try to like not let him power drain me, but it doesn't work for the other power drain node. So yeah, there's just so much power drain going on in this fight, and you don't want to be immune to it either, because then he's going to make you take damage. He's unblockable here because he had 30 of the Furies. Annoying because I can't counter the specials like I normally would be able to. Drop the special there. It does some decent damage, and it means he's not going to go indestructible now because I did the SP1 first and the SP2 second. And now we are going to go for an SP1 now. My Furies are kind of falling off, but at least we're about to get some more of them. Whenever you trigger Thanos' Unstoppable, you're going to gain, or you're going to place a Panic debuff on the opponent, which makes them not be able to miss or evade. So that means we can just counter Prowler's specials if we block the final hit to trigger that Panic. So really nice and useful tip there. Going for a heavy attack here. I need to get a counter punch because I'm about to lose some Furies. I lost 1, saved the other. And here he's at like 2%. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just dead now. I need a beta special. Actually, I just decided to full send. I knew power drain was like incoming eventually, and I wouldn't be able to get a special or whatever. So I just kind of decided to push him red and stuff. It didn't matter. I knew I was going to die. And then we finished him off with Bullseye. Now we're fighting Ares. This run with Ares was pretty decent. I'm still not the greatest at this fight. As you can see, literally the first special attack he throws, I messed up. Because I kind of don't like the fact that his specials are faster in the first... I mean, they're slower in the first phase, and then they speed up for the rest of them. Because that just means the first phase, I'm going to be expecting them to be at real speed, and they're not. Which I guess is, like, good, because it's going to help train you to how the specials work, but then it just threw me off. I don't know. I can't really complain about it, because it's probably helping you on your first run a lot to know what the specials look like a lot slower and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna try to block that for some reason, because I'm just stupid. I'm gonna get better at the fight. Like, my early attempts on this run were just really poor. This attempt with Thanos is gonna go pretty decently, I think. But I'm still just pretty bad at this fight in general. I know people are doing this with way less items than I am. But anyway, yeah, the SP1 is Dex, Block, Light, and then Dex. So, it's just a pattern you have to try to memorize and time correctly, specifically with those well-timed blocks, because those are the hardest ones to time right. And we're going to go for an SP2 here. We're really just doing it for the damage itself and not for the corrosion, of course. You can't increase your attack or do damage over time damage in this fight. So we're just kind of dropping special 2s as we get them for some damage. And there's another SP1 that I did correctly. So our damage is just going up. And I just want to keep doing the things, getting more vigor, and hopefully pushing him into his next phase as fast as possible. So, I can counterpunch there. I don't really know why I didn't. But either way, we're going to bait another special one here. And then I do the things right. We're about to push him into phase 2 because he's only got 3% left. So this special 2 should do it. And there we go. Right there. So... now we're in phase 2. The fight's kind of the same, except not really, because he's going to either throw an SP1 or an SP2 on his SP2, and you won't exactly know which one it is until he does. So it's just about trying to have the quickest reaction time ever, or you can pause the fight, or eat the special attack entirely like I did. On the bright side, protection helped a little bit. I say a little bit, but it literally is the only reason that I'm alive, so it helped a lot. And then he's going to throw another special here, which I'm probably going to eat as well, because I'm bad. And yeah, and I tried to block it that time, because I'm like, okay. I try to dex the SP2, and then I try to block the SP1. That's about right. Anyway, now we're going to go in with Serpent, because I had a team revive that I used before this. And then we're actually going to do pretty decently for this. So there, we counter it. We have 18 vigor, which is pretty nice. And now Ares is going to drop another special in a moment, which he's going to do the SP1, Dex, Block, Light Attack, Dex, and then we're going to go for my own SP2. That was a really nice crit there, and then the special itself does some nice damage, and here's another SP2 from Ares. So what is he going to throw? We need to do the block, light, dex, swipe up, which we do correctly. And phase 3 is upcoming pretty soon. We need to push him to 60% health. That SP2 did some very nice damage. Dex, block, light, dex, and yeah, we're doing good. We're in phase 3 now, which is the same thing, but we have to counter his specials with specific actions. Also forgot about the unblockable and struckable, and he literally uses a Titania Haymaker there, so that's what that is. Anyway, I'm gonna die, as you're about to see, because we're gonna... Actually, what happened there? I thought I did that at the right time. That looked like it was at the right time, but I guess it wasn't. I don't know. Alright, now we're using Bullseye. Sorry, the recording's a bit laggy, because I was, again, on stream, so it probably didn't play out the best, but it's okay. Now we need this guy to drop a special, and he does, and then we do the things correctly. Dex into a medium, and then, yeah, the counter evade still works. So That kind of saved me maybe dying there, which is nice. Now we need to counter a special with a medium light. I need him to throw it first, which he's going to do right there. And block, light, dex, swipe up, counter with medium light, and then I'm going to go for my SP2 here, which is going to do pretty decent damage. You cannot increase your own crit damage in this fight, but Bullseye compensates by critting on every hit at least, so that's something. Even though his base crit damage is really low, so I'm not really sure if he's like better or worse for this fight, but whatever. It's still pretty decent, right? Anyway, heavy attack there just to get him aggro, and then dex, block, light attack, and then I want to counter with dex medium. And this run is going very well. We're taking off a good bit of his health before I die, which is a success for me. So now he's below 47, and I go in even though he's not stunned, so that was a bit risky, but I think I had the counter evade. And then I try to dex that, I think, or something, I don't know. But luckily he doesn't kill me. He didn't do that much damage to me, if I'm being entirely honest. Expected that to do a lot more. Next special he throws, I need to counter with a medium and a light, so he throws it and I do the correct thing. So gonna go for a counter with medium light, and then we get it, and relic, gonna go for an SP2, or am I gonna hold it? I think I'm gonna hold it. Next is medium heavy, so he's gonna throw the special eventually. There he does. Dex, light, dex, block, light, dex. Medium heavy, cancel into the SP2. The SP2 does pretty nice damage, and then he's at 33% health, get an intercept there, and we're going to push him into the last phase, and luckily we do, and then I'm going to die pretty fast. But at least, dying at the start of his next phase doesn't feel that bad, because you've lost all your vigor anyway, so it doesn't, you're going to have to re-ramp, so it's not like you're missing out that much if he died at the beginning of his first phase. I don't know what happened there, but I didn't do anything, it looked like. So I guess I was late on a parry or something. I'm going to skip to the last phase here, where we just want to do some intercepts and try to do his specials correctly as usual, which we're going to do pretty well. And then we need to just try to not get hit and keep baiting the specials. Intercepting before he gets the haste is going to be nice. And then let's see, he's going to go for another one. Dex, block, light, dex. And I needed to counter it with a medium special, which we do. And then I'm going to need to do a medium special again. I need a sidestep here. I don't know if I sidestep. I should, but I don't know if I actually do it. That sidestep is a good way to get around the haste. So, dex, block, light, dex. And then I don't have a special attack to counter with, so I just kind of hold. And then I get called on a dash back, so it's like, okay. But we're just going to eventually kill him. He didn't want to play into my intercepts much. He does not like getting intercepted in the, like at the very end of the immortality stacks. He just is terrible to try and intercept, but whatever, he's dead. And that is that run. So I hope this was helpful for you. Do tell me in the comments below if it was, and ask any questions if you need to. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.